Last week's work on the river scene was an epic failure. What can we do to fix this mess?
Well, hey, rail fans and model railroaders. Welcome back to another episode of Getting Back on Track with Steve and Roxy. So, with that epic failure, we're going to get in here and try something a little bit different. I've got a lot of little cut pieces. Let's see if we can fit some in here and see how that's going to look. So, one thing I thought about is I got some pieces that we cut out here and there for different foam areas that maybe we might do like we did over the mountain and set a piece in, kind of like we did back over here. And that might work. And then we can get some of these other pieces and yeah, that one fits in there perfect. And maybe we can stack up some pieces in here to make this look right. Yeah, see, here's a longer piece to a shorter piece to a shorter piece to a shorter piece. So I think as we're going up, and then we've got some other, we got a piece over here. So then I just need one more taller piece to fit in there. Yeah, because if we cut this edge down, so then that would cut some of this out. But then I could do the same thing on this side. So bringing that up. But I'm just not seeing how the heck it's gonna be able to fit in. So I do got some of these other cut up pieces that might fit in some of these areas. Hey Roxy, do we get any suggestions on ways we could go about doing this?
Well, let me check, Dad. Well, here's a good one. The concept's good and could still work. You need to stop overthinking it. Most of the bridge is going to cover the area and we won't even see it.
Oh, I get it. If I step back, most of the area is unseen. So we only need to make it a suggestion of the area from what we can see. I guess I'm going to have to get bold and start using my knife. As we said before, the problem we had was the bridge butted up against this side right here. There wasn't enough space. So we're gonna continue using this piece we already started, but I've made some marks. We're gonna be cutting a lot of this back and out. We're gonna lower this area down in here, and I made a mark. I want to bring it down even further along here and slope this way and back. So we're gonna get our wire foam cutter. The first thing we want to make is our first cut along here. And this is going to take out the piece, so this will be even where we wanted it to be, even with this upper part over here. But then we want to bring this down as well, and we want that angle away. Okay, so hopefully this is kind of a general shape we can use. So I fit it into here. And nothing like trying to move the camera around. Should have set it like this to begin with. But so now we can see that our bridge is going to come right here. And that's going to give us about an inch off of that. So I can work this a little bit. And I can bring this down a little deeper here, I think. It's kind of hard to get that hot blade down into it, but I wanted it coming down. So this could be some pretty fast moving water down into a rocky area. So I think this is going to work pretty good for us. And I can also work this area up in here. I can use some Sculpting mold on some spots. I can cut it up a little bit more with the knife. I could do some sanding. We're going to add some more in here, but that'll set us up to where a little bit higher ground on this side. Water's kind of flowing down and coming into this area here. So maybe some big rocky outcrops right here that the water's hitting into. But I think I can make this work. So let's set the bridge back in place and see how that sets. Yeah, I think that's going to work a little better. I think we can make this work. Yeah. So if we bring the camera angle down a little bit here. So what do you think? I think this might work. A little more work back up in there and we'll have it done. Okay, so I'm thinking we want to cut this down a little more deeper into here. So I'm going to try doing that just with the knife here. Yeah, maybe I need to get that butcher knife back. Okay, we're going to try cutting it back a little more. A little deeper in there. Okay, let me pull this out so I can get it. Okay, where's my sandpaper? So I'm thinking that we're getting much closer. And I think the ticket here is just be bold in what I'm doing. You know, just really tear into it. Not be too worried about it. I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen is I'll have to come back here and work it a little bit. I think I'll probably work these edges a little more like this, because I like the way this looks. That way we can connect in here with some brush and stuff up here. It's going to help hide this little space down here. And this will all be fast moving waterfall water, and coming down, and this could be just some exposed rock up here that maybe during high water times, you know, in the spring when the snow's melting and stuff, it comes across here a little more. But yeah, I think this is looking a little better. So I can set the bridge up here. Maybe get this in place right. There we go. Yeah, I think this is a lot better. A lot better. So let me clean this up. We're going to get some more. I'm going to cut a piece to kind of fit into here because I want to continue to bring this down a little bit to this area right here, because then it's going to start slowing down and, you know, we can bank it up a little bit. But I think we're in a much better space right now. Well, I'm really liking how this is turning out. But I've been thinking about it. I wonder what would happen if we applied some heat to this area. If we could do away with any kind of sanding, or if maybe we can chop this out a little bit without having to carve it up. So why don't we give that a shot? So one thing we're thinking about is when you got water and it's running over rock for ages and ages and ages, it smooths it all out and kind of rolls it down, and it just really carves it up. So we've been wondering on this if you could do a same kind of an effect by applying some heat to the foam. So I have a hot air heat gun here, and it puts out a good bit of heat. So we'll start out with a low temperature and see what it does to the foam here. You can see barely touching it, just right away starts melting. So you can see right off, it does melt it down and kind of smooth out in a way. So let's see what happens when you do a high heat. Now, when you look at these pieces, you know, we kind of cut this up a little bit. And this side over here, you can see it was cut with a hot knife. So we can see what a hot knife will do with it too. Get that for a little bit and see what it does. Now the melting's pretty slow on this low speed. So I'm gonna go ahead and crank it up and see what happens. We got a higher heat coming. Yeah, it's melting it up much quicker. Okay, so we got another piece over here. Let's see what happens. This is the one that we carved up real good. Let's see what happens to the carving. Wow, it's like right now. Yeah, that's really interesting how it does it. But yeah, it really melts it down. So the other thing we wondered is on the leading edge on one of these, if we wanted to have it roll down gently, maybe we can use the low speed and kind of just do this edge. Well, this is interesting. So one of the things I've noticed is you get this hot enough, you can kind of form it. You let it get good and hot. So then I guess the next thing is to wonder is, where's my sponge at here? So once we've melted it down, heat up our pan pretty good too. Yeah, I don't know, that makes it pretty brittle. This may not work so well because you can't hardly stand it. And this makes it real hard, almost like a rock-like. Yeah, I would call that experiment a failure.
Well, there you go. We're feeling so much better about this river scene.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the one thing I really enjoy about this hobby is the community out there. We were basically stuck here and somebody popped on and gave us something to think about, which is basically get out of your own way. You know? So you really need to stop and try not to throw such a microscope on things, because most of what we're doing is a suggestion of something.
Mm-hmm.
So we're never going to get absolutely flawless, perfect details, probably. But the things that you can see, we want to get as realistic and close as possible. And those things only need to suggest something that you can't see real well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a really good lesson for us, and probably a good lesson for everybody.
Absolutely.
So we're going to continue moving forward on the river scene, and we're going to expand up to the corners so we can get that tunnel put in up there as well as the mountain. And then we can start working back the other way to the other corner, because we really want to start getting all the ground cover down, putting some brush and grass in and trees. And we really want to make a real scene over here. So with that being said, you guys have a good time working on your layouts and running your trains.
Make sure you hit like and subscribe so you're notified of our next video.
And we'll see you back again next time on Getting Back on Track with Steve
And Roxy. Bye, guys.
Bye.